She's pretty, but she's also small. So is there a contrast between the two of them?
Well, kind of.
How's that?
They're both really short, but one of them is really strong and one of them is really beautiful, although it doesn't really talk about the appeal of, I guess one of them is funny and one of them is beautiful to look at or something.
And it says, so she possessed much influence. Who does she have this influence over?
Probably the king and his 7 nobles.
Why?
Just because she's pretty.
Quite possibly. So it's just a good plot point, I think, to notice when it says things like someone has influence or someone was able to convince someone of something else or something. Is there probably the author is trying to tell you what? The author might be trying to give you a clue that that influence will be used in the future or might be abused in the future, or that influence will go away. So it's just important to note those things that are brought up in the beginning of a short story. Matt, would you like to read?
On some grand state occasion at Grot West, the king determined to have a masquerade, and whenever a masquerade or anything of that kind occurred at our court, the talents both of Hop Frog and Trippetta were sure to be called into play. Hop Frog, in especial, was so inventive in the way of getting up pageants, suggesting novel characters and arranging costumes for masked balls that nothing could be done, it seems, without his assistance. The night appointed for the fete had arrived. A gorgeous hall had been fitted up under Trippetta's eye, with every kind of device which could possibly give eclat to a masquerade. The whole court was in a fever of expectation. As for costumes and characters, it might well be supposed that everybody had come to a decision on such points. When they had made up their minds as to what roles they should assume, a week or even a month in advance, and in fact there was not a particle. Thank you.
Yes.
You are welcome.
I don't know, Sam, don't judge me. A particle of decision anywhere, except in the case of the king and his 7 ministers. Why they hesitated, I never could tell, unless they did it by way of a joke. More probably, they found it difficult on account of being so fat to make up their minds. At all events, time flew, and as a last resort, they sent for Trippetta and Hop Frog.
So where is our setting now? Where are we for the story?
Some grand state occasion.
So another party. So it seems like Poe likes parties.
The king and his 7 ministers.
So a kingly fest. Or party. And the king is there and his 7 ministers are there. And what does Trippetta do for the party so far? Organized it, yeah, decorated it. What did Hop Frog do?
He made up like things to keep them entertained, like plays and stuff.
So both very creative, inventive people with good imaginations. Charlie, would you mind reading for me a little bit? When 2 friends, the second to last paragraph.
When the 2 little friends obeyed some notes of the king, they found him sitting at his window with the 7 members of his cabinet.
Council. Good. Keep going.
Oh. But the
Monarch.
monarch
appeared.
appeared to be in a very ill humor. He knows that Hop Frog was not fond of wood, for it except the whole
Cripple.
purple, almost to madness, and madness is no comfortable feeling. But the king loved his
Practical.
practical job and took pleasure in forcing Hop Frog to drink and as the king called it to be
Mary. Yeah. So what just happened? Hop Frog gets called in to go in front of the king and his people are drinking, and what happens
Say, have a drink.
to Hop Frog? Why is that bad? Is that bad?
Because you get alcohol.
Because who gets mad?
Hot frog. Hot frog.
Okay. What happens when Hop Frog drinks?
He goes crazy.
And is it a joke to the king?
Yes.
So do we find out more about the king in this paragraph? What did we find out?
That he doesn't care
That he doesn't care about what happens to
about
people?
other people.
What happens to any people? It seems like he just, as long as it's funny to him. Jocelyn, would you read?
Come here, Hop Frog, said he, as the jester and his friend entered the room with slow these butter to the health of your upset friends. Here, Hop Frog, son, and then let us have the benefit of your invention. We want carpenters man something novel out of the way. We are worried with this everlasting sameness. Come drink. The wine will brighten your face. Hop Frog
Endeavored, yeah.
endeavored as usual to get up just in reply to this advance from the king, but the effort was too much. It happened to be the poor dog's birthday, and the command to drink to his absent friends forced the tears to his eyes. Many large bitter drops fell into the goblet as he took it, humbly from the hand of the
Tyrant. What is a tyrant?
Dictator.
Usually with a poor connotation, somebody that's not kind to his people. So when the king tells him to drink to his absent friends, what are we talking about?
Drink to dead people, basically. Departed souls. Or
And the king is bringing this up sort of as a joke. And it happens to be Hop Frog's birthday, so he's making fun of. I was trying to get a copy of it. So again, another sort of negative thing about the king. Damien, would you pick up?
I would when you were war.
Ah ha ha
Oh. Brother, well, we,
Reluctantly?
yes,
Huh?
joined the beaker. See what glass of food one can do. Oh, good. One drink. Why? Your eyes are shining already.
Keep going.
Oh, yeah?
You don't get off that easy.
Hopefully. His large eyes are gleaming, rather than strong, for the effect of the wine on his
Excitable?
Yeah, excitable. Playing
Once
was
again.
more powerful than instantaneous. He placed the
Goblet?
goblet
Good.
obviously on a table and walked around from the company with half the same stare. They all seemed highly amused at the success of the king's joke.
And now to business, said the Prime Minister, a very fat man. Yes, said the King, come lend us your assistance. Characters, my fine fellow, we stand in need of characters, all of us. And as this was seriously meant for a joke, his laugh was chorused by the 7. Hop Frog also laughed, although feebly and somewhat vacantly. Come, come, said the King impatiently, have you nothing to suggest? I am endeavored to think of something novel, replied the dwarf abstractedly, for he was quite bewildered by the wine. Endeavoring, cried the tyrant fiercely, what do you mean by that? Ah, I perceive, you are sulky and want more wine. Here, drink this. And he poured out another gobletful and offered it to the cripple, who merely gazed at it, gasping for breath. Drink, I say, shouted the monster, or by the fiends. The dwarf hesitated. The king grew purple with rage. The courtiers smirked. Trippetta, pale as a corpse, advanced to the monarch's seat and, falling on her knees before him, implored him to spare her friend. So what just happened?
The king keeps forcing him to drink, and Trippetta's like, stop.
Why would... What does she see that the king doesn't seem to see or care about?
It's hurting.
It's hurting Hop Frog. And the king, and apparently his 7 assistants don't seem to really care. Who else would like to read? Emily, would you like to read?
Me? Okay. So,
The tyrant regarded her.
Tyrant.
3rd paragraph from the bottom.
Okay.
From the bottom.
Well, the tyrant regarded her for some moments in evident wonder at her audacity. He seemed quite at a loss what to do or say, how most becomingly to express his indignation. At last, without uttering a syllable, he pushed her violently from him and threw the contents of the brimming goblet in her face.
Good.
The poor girl got up the best she could, and not daring even to sigh, resumed her position at the foot of the table.
Okay. And we'll just start going around the room. So Jonathan, do you want to keep going?
There was a dead silence for about half a minute, during which the falling of a leaf or of a feather might have been heard. It was interrupted by a low but harsh sound, with a rapid grating sound which seemed to come at once from every corner of the room. What? What are you making that noise for? Demanded the king, turning fiercely to the dwarf. The latter seemed to have recovered in great measure from his intoxication, and looked fixedly but quietly into the tyrant's face, merely ejaculated, I, how could it have been me?
Go ahead, Hal.